Oh, look at that truck belching like crazy. Man, that's like in Manila already. Look at that. I'm like in Manila with the smoke belching diesels. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, and kiddies, thanks to Sin City Indian Motorcycles here in Las Vegas, and I'll be taste testing the new 2021 17-inch front wheel FTRS. And because we're taking off, that's why I have to get it on right away. Alright, before we start, let's start it up. It's nice, FTR 1200. Okay, there you go. And before we start, ergonomics check. I'm 6'3", 200 to 220 pounds, with a 35-inch overall inseam and a size 13 foot. And here we go. So the biggest change between the last FTR I've ridden compared to this one, they retuned the suspension a little bit to accommodate the 17-inch front and rear wheels. So basically this will act like a super naked bike. Super to hyper naked, whatever you think of it. It may not be as fast as the MT10 or the Tuono per se, but you can keep up with them. Although this one is a little bit heavy, so compared to those other contemporary hyper nakeds. But against super nakeds, this can be a little bit more competent too. The gear selector and the rear brake pedal are tiny, and I kind of noticed too that compared to the 19-inch FTR is I got a little bit more aggressive riding position compared to the 19-inch. This 17-inch version, and although of course it feels a little bit lighter, much more flickier. The rear brakes is a little bit mushy. Yeah, it's a little mushy. But the front brakes is very tactile, easy to modulate. But the rear brakes is a little mushy. The brake pad on the right side is tiny. The gear selector is kind of normal. But yeah, let me see if I can. Okay, there you go. Let's try this naked bike style gauge layout, because on the rotary ones I can't see the tack. The side mirrors is a very good articulation and very good coverage. I can barely see my elbows on both sides. A lot better than some of the other Indian lineups out there. And I like this layout, this going up, the L1. It's like a reverse Lapid right there. And let me see. Yeah, this one has an Akrapovic twin high exhaust. Okay, so this one has an Akrapovic, just like the one that I rode last year. Of course, just like the old FTR with the 19-inch, the torque is right instantaneous, but the handling, it feels like I'm riding a 500cc naked bike. A big difference compared to the 19-inch version. Does this one have a... Nope, it doesn't have a quick shifter. It makes it much more involving that way, right? So right now we're in the standard mode. Everything is relaxed. The throttle is just right, in my opinion. I like the throttle sensitivity on this one. Let's switch it to sport. Sporto. There you go. Let's see how it feels like. Yep, a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more bite. And the good thing is, the touchscreen on this and any of the Indian motorcycle TFT gauges are touchscreen, even with your gloves on. So it can be a little handy for you to switch modes and whatsoever. And with this sport mode, it's a little bit sensitive. Right now I'm just fighting the crosswinds and everything. At 4,000 revs, at 70 miles an hour, I got minimal to medium vibrations on the handlebar, nothing on my seat, and minimal to none on my foot. That's pretty good for long distance riding, because most FTR models have cruise control. That's a good thing if you're planning to tour this bike at long distances. I heard some owner reviews on this bike. Actually, I talked to someone that they said that the stock seats on this one is like a little bit hard after 300 miles. But good thing there's some aftermarket solutions that can rectify that. And of course, another thing good about this suspension is it's adjustable suspension. Yeah, on these concrete surfaces on which a typical vehicle will just bounce like a pogo stick, this FTR manages it very well. It's a lot more refined compared to some of the adventure bikes that I've ridden before in this stretch of road. The torque is just right there. If you really need it, just squirt it and there you go. This 1200cc V-twin is not gonna let you off that easily. See, just squirt it and off you go. And I like the way the engine sounds. The twin exhaust, the Akrapovic twin exhaust layout is very nice. Even at this high winds, I can still barely hear the engine. I'm not wearing earplugs right now, so I can barely hear the engine even through this crosswind situation. Wow, this bike is very flicky. Just a slight correction on my handlebar, the bike reacts already, as if like a typical naked bike. Wow, see, it reacts to me right away. Yeah, it's very sensitive now. It feels like a real super naked. It may not have the top end like the other hyper nakeds out there, but this bike can keep up on some corners in particular. Yeah, I like this reverse L gauge layout. I can see what's going on. It has a tach, it has a speedo, and I'm running low on gas. Oh man, it just pulls. Just a flick of your wrist, just a twist of your wrist, and you're already going 10 miles an hour faster. In that 17-inch made this bike a different bike altogether compared to the 19-inch version. I forgot that this bike revs a little faster than the 11/16 cubic inch V-twin. This 1200 revs a little faster. Man, the throttle is just very nice. I think I'll keep it on this mode instead of the standard mode. Rev match is really nice. The gear selector is very tactile too. You can tell that you're switching gears, unlike some bikes out there. You can tell. A standard gauge, you can put your phone in, you can put your Bluetooth in. Very nice. I'm flat-footed. That nice Akrapovic, man. Yeah. Other than the 17-inch fronts, the retuned suspension, it's basically almost the same as the 19-inch version. But this one has the 17-inch tires now. So it feels like a completely different bike now, because the 19-inch feels like a fast, naked ATV bike, like a Katana at some degree. Actually, this can go against the Katana now. I like that heat shield right here too. Let's see its low speeds. Very flicky. Very flicky bike. Very, very flicky bike. I mean, you can take this bike on an MSF course because it's so light. Yeah, and there's a socket right here. Proprietary though, but you can put an adapter over here. It's nice. Yeah, it's basically the 19-inch 1200S that's 17-inch and lower suspension travel, basically. Yeah, the rear brakes is kind of mushy on this one. Feels a little mushy. Other than that, it's easy to modulate too. That's a nice sounding acceleration. The torque is there. It's not a screamer, but the torque, man. Yeah, it's a completely different bike than the one that I rode back in Scottsdale. It feels like a real naked bike compared to the last model that was neither here or there. Yeah, I can ride it like a naked bike. A true naked bike. Look at my riding position. I'm already on attack mode. Man, this can be a little bit of a situation here for me. For a super naked, I think I might get this because it has all the things that you need for a naked bike with a long distance capability. It's not that light, nor it's not that heavy either, and it's also an American bike. So there you go. If you need an American naked bike, this is where you go till EBR or Harley shows up with their Bronx 975. But oh well, at least Indian has resulted this version of the FTR. Oh, take note also, there is no FTR 1200S in 19-inch front wheel form anymore. The only 19-inch you can get is the rally one. You can check my video on that. That's the only bike that you can get with the 19-inch front wheel. So the last year for this one is the 2020 FTR 1200S with a 19-inch. If you want the 19-inch front wheel, the 2020 is the last thing you can get. But now all of them comes with a 17-inch front and rear wheel. Just a side note on that. Let me put it back to standard mode. There you go. Even if you press the button to put it to standard mode, you have to let go of the throttle completely off to change modes for it to enable. Now I'm on standard mode and it feels a little bit more relaxed. It doesn't cut the power down, it cuts the responsive timing. So now it feels like a standard naked motorcycle. You can just ride it like as you treat it like a regular cruiser nowadays, but you have all the torque still. Yep, you can still have all the torque even on standard mode. It just relaxes the throttle response, and that's basically it. Yeah, and at 35 revs and up, that's where you feel the vibrations on the handlebar. You might need some gummy grips on this. The seat can get a little hard now, the standard seats. Oh, the wind is just pushing me. I have no problems on my leg room. I'm very comfortable for my height. This bike might be big to some people, but for my height, this is a nice naked, super naked bike for what it is. Wow, the kick, the 1200S kicks, the torque makes this bike even at 6th gear, no problem. You gotta have a very good discipline for this bike, because just at any gear, this bike will just punch at you. Hilarious torque. Oh, the torque is just hilarious. It'll make you giggle for hours on end. Oh, it's such a fun bike to ride. The clutch bite goes between 85 to 95% before full release. Damn, it's flicky. Damn. Very nice. Oh man, this bike is just fun to ride. It might be bigger than some super and hyper naked bikes, but it's just tons of fun to ride. My gosh. Oh boy. I like this even more. I like the 17-inch more than the 19-inch version. Yep, I scraped my foot on that one. Damn, this is nice. And we're back at Sid City, Indian. Since this bike is low on gas, so put it to neutral. Easy to put it to neutral. Off. Off. That's basically it. The kickstand is kind of hard to find, but it's easy to deploy at some degree. And there you go, the 1200S. Well, before I go, just pause this video to see the features on this one. Oh, it has 120. So this is a hyper naked already. Very good, very good. Cool. So there you go. The difference between the 2020 and this one is the wheels. Sport bike wheels already. And the wheels is like Metzler Sport M9 RR. 17-inch. There you go. That's the biggest change from the 2021 model. But other than that, it's almost everything's the same. It has the ZF suspension front and rear. It doesn't have all-ins, that's different. The 2020 that I rode, the race replica, has the all-ins, but this one is ZF now. And this one has the high trumpet double Akrapovic. Compared to the last time that I rode, it has the low single Akrapovic that goes like this. Yep, it has the 17-inch rear wheel too. So this is now a proper hyper naked. Unlike the 19-inch that I rode back in Scottsdale. It's a completely different bike than the ones that I rode back in Scottsdale. 2 thumbs way up on this. Oh my gosh. And there you go. The 2021 FTR 1200S 17-inch. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.